Hello again. This is part 3 in my WTF Did This Happen with the election video. And if you haven't seen the first 2, you might want to pause and go back and watch them in order, but that's really up to you. What I'm going to be talking about in this video is more about the future. The first one was the retrospective of Trump and Kamala's election day transit. I made longer videos of those and I'm going to post them either later or tomorrow, but I want to be sensitive to people's feelings, though I do think you'll find them helpful to watch. The second video that I just did was kind of like what's happening, like what is the landscape now? What do we need to look at right now? This one I'm going to talk about the future, 2025 and beyond, the entire second half of the decade. And why there's reason to actually feel hopeful and to know that what we're looking at today is not the same as what happened after Trump won in 2016. Very different landscape then. Then we had Pluto, which is the planet of hidden power in Capricorn, the sign of the patriarchy. Now, 2025 to 2044, actually November 19th, the very end of the Biden administration, a few weeks too late, Pluto goes back into Aquarius, a sign that favors progress, Democrats, liberals. It's just great. Watch the last video for that. So Pluto in Aquarius is giving us basically 2 decades to revolutionize everything. Now, Pluto in Aquarius, the last time it came around was 1778 to 1798. We got the Constitution, we got Haitian and French revolutions, the end of the American Revolution, all kinds of things. But now we have technology. And one thing that I was thinking about was like Pluto in Aquarius is kind of showing up in its early stages with these sort of Darth Vader-y energies around technology. So Pluto is Darth Vader, but also Anakin Skywalker. So there's some good, but it'll break stuff down. It's the Phoenix. So when Pluto first teased its way into Aquarius, we got the Hollywood writers' strike. That happened in June of 2023. And then, it was all about AI. Now we're dealing with Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, 2 tech bros who have basically helped hand Trump the election. And then you also have a very Aquarian, QAnon-y vibe going on. And you have RFK Jr., who's almost an Aquarius. He's actually a late Capricorn, January 17th. So his out there Aquarian ideas about health and medicine and basically everything that quirky, eccentric, some might argue dangerously so, energy, though, fits with this Pluto in Aquarius vibe. The humanitarian energy of Pluto in Aquarius that we've seen with student protests and the mobilization that Kamala Harris was able to pull off in a few short months, which is, and using social media is also that. So we're going to see these new tools being used. We're going to see cryptocurrency, technology, space travel, humanitarian activism, mobilization around social media. Those were not tools that our founding fathers had back in 1778. So it's a different game. Another thing that's also incredibly fascinating to me is right now Neptune is at a late degree at the very end of its long 15-year tour through Pisces. Went into Pisces in April 2011. That's its home sign. And it officially will be out of there January 26th, 2026. But next year, 2025, Neptune goes into Aries from March 30th to October 22nd. The first time it's been there since 1862 to 1875. Here's why that's significant. 1861, which was when Neptune is at the same late degree of Pisces where it is now, was the beginning of the United States Civil War. It was also a time where Romanticism was the prevailing art form of the day, and spiritualism, the movement where people were doing seances, talking to ghosts, bringing in spirituality. That was happening during the end of Neptune in Pisces, and definitely since Neptune's been in Pisces since 2011. Did anyone go to plant medicine ceremonies and talk about it? Maybe a few fringe people. Were psychedelics being legalized? No. Was everybody doing yoga? And not really. But or tarot or astrology. Neptune in Pisces has brought in this wave of both, this connection to the 5D world. Now, Neptune in Aries the last time around brought this but interesting shift. So the Civil War lasted from 1861 to 1865. So Neptune was in Pisces when it began, in Aries when it ended, and we had abolitionism, we had Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant. That was all in the beginning of Neptune in Aries. And in the arts, the realism movement came in, which was the first time that artists veered away from the academy and started painting subjects that were like workers, women, people of color. Like mainstream artists started doing shows outside of the academy. It was like, we want to see the real deal shit, people. And that's really what we need to do now to prevent a civil war, really. I think the map with the vast swaths of red in both the electoral and the popular vote say a lot about the state of where people are in terms of their acceptance over race and gender and just fears, how people can be manipulated with fear, which is very Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Aries. So Saturn, which is also our structured planet, is also going to spend part of the year in Aries next year too, from May 24th to September 1st. So a short little bit there. And I think there's going to be a real desire to just find this courage to just face shit head on. It's like, this happened. Why? Why did this happen? What does this mean? Now you might think Saturn and Neptune and Aries could bring some authoritarianism. We already have that going on. We want to say we're not going back, but in many ways, the billionaire, millionaire class has been running the show for the longest. Pluto and Capricorn just fortified that in this election. It's going to be different than anything we've ever seen in the years ahead. It's just that the pendulum swing is showing us this energy moving away from these sort of dreamy Pisces, more conservative Taurus energy, Capricorn energy, into these very renegade signs next year. We've got Saturn and Neptune doing a little preview in Aries, and Uranus going into Gemini. I'll talk about that in the next video because this one's getting long, so you might want to hit pause. I'm going to talk about Uranus and Gemini and what that means for us in terms of changing our local, internal, neighborly ways we do things, as well as Jupiter in Cancer, which I think as a woman is something that makes me feel the brightest ray of hope, and that begins on June 9th. So pause here and go on to video 4 if you feel like you're ready to watch some more. And thanks for letting me break this down for you guys.